What's up, everybody? Uh, you already know who it is, target individual CJBK. Um, so, uh, as you can tell by the quality of this video, I'm using my laptop. Because for whatever reason, my storage on my phone keeps saying it's full. Um, then again, I also realize there's other little intricate parts about apps and the data they save and the cache, all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just use the laptop. Because I don't have memory problems with the laptop. So and then then also um yeah, then the whole hacking thing with the phone and stuff. I don't know. I don't think I ever really have too many problems with uploading from the laptop, but I don't know. We'll see after this video. Because most of the time they always do the what is it, the connection interference attacks, or the DOS attacks, when I'm trying to upload something that basically like says a lot about what's going on. And usually, like, whenever I try to upload something, they'll say it's gonna take like 8 to 20 hours for like a 20-minute video to upload and stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah, because I was trying to upload a video based off of the things that have occurred over the weekend. Um and well, I'm gonna try it again this time, right? Um okay. So I started out by saying I'm gonna get very vulnerable with this video. No one will ever be named, or I don't put nobody's business out there, but um if the person that I'm referring to happens to see this video, um, which I doubt it, but if they do, um, just know it was never in any way, shape, or form to, um, you know, try to like do anything against you, right? This is all about, me in this video and how I'm reacting based on my targeting and things of that sort. So, um, I'll try to do like a faster version of it. So basically, after work, um, I went to go and hang out with a friend, who was going through some, well, it was mostly just to get some food, and then I think afterward, she was just like, "Hey, you know, let's go get some drinks." I was like, "I bet." So um we went to this, we went, you know, I mean, every TI knows that no matter where you go, there's probably some gang stalker or just someone who's a part of the cloud, you know, uh, um, the cloud body area network system that they got going. I don't even know how the hell they want to call it, but they like to call themselves a secret society, whatever. So, when we were at the restaurant, I don't think I really noticed too much of the presence of gang stalkers or secret society members. Maybe I have noticed a few of them just by energy, because I feel like my aura or my energy, it spans so wide that I don't have to be within 5 feet of a person to know if they have ill intentions for other people in their life. So it's like it's literally nothing for me to be able to just look at a person and almost tell you're probably a good-hearted person, or look at a person and tell you probably do some fucked up shit to people, and then smile right in their face. um so anyway, yeah, we went to this bar, and super dope chill bar too, mad cool. And you know, it wasn't that many people there when we got there, and then as we were, you know, this is a Saturday night. This is this past Saturday. So as we were there, just chilling, me, I anytime, most of the time when I'm somewhere in public, um, I feel like my life has been, I feel like my life in the past has been, preparing me for everything that I've been, or about to come up against. So like, so I remember ever since for as early as elementary school, middle school, and high school, in the cafeteria, you learn not to sit in the open space. You learn not to sit in the middle. Why? Because you need to be able to see everything that's going on around you. Because if you don't, you might get hit with some food, or somebody want to do something to you, and if you got your back turned, you couldn't see it coming beforehand. So we go and we find this like it's kind of, they have like couches in the bar. So we sit against the wall. We're sitting against the wall, and I have a view of both the left and the right side of the bar. It was a long bar, right? And we in there chilling, having a couple of drinks. Then slowly people start to fill up. Here's it coming. It's coming out like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I think we spent probably almost 3 hours in that, maybe 2 hours in that bar, or something like that. And no, we was in there for much longer than that. Yeah, we was in there having a pretty darn good time, and we was mostly just talking. Then eventually she starts. I notice she's on her phone so much, and eventually she tells me she's like texting like this guy she's been dating, and things had just not been working out too well between them, and whatchamacallit, I don't know, like I don't know. I try to me being I tried my best to be as honest as I possibly can, but also extremely understanding of any person's situation or circumstances. So, she's like telling me the things that's going on, and I'm filling her in, at least from a guy's perspective of other men, and things that you should avoid doing when you're, you know, um, when you're dating a guy, things you should avoid doing, especially like certain conversations you should never have. There are certain things you should never do. And when it comes to relationships and in deep conversation, one, never stop drunk texting. I know that's hard to do, but I've never seen anything good come out of drunk texting. Never. I mean, I don't think she was drunk. She wasn't drunk, but she was definitely like, she was definitely, let's say she was vulnerable, right? She was vulnerable, but at the same time, um, you know, emotional. So you don't necessarily want to have alcohol flowing through you, and then, you're trying to have a deep conversation with someone, through text, because there's so many different parts of that conversation that's missing, other aspects of a conversation, and something that's like intimate or whatever. You don't want to have that through a text. And then what else? It was, let me see. Uh, there was something else. But anyway, yeah, lately they've been the handlers. The handlers have been attacking my brain a lot more. So it's like the vertigo has been increasing a lot more. So, which means, and then along with that, I've gotten a lot more spoof calls. So the more spoof calls, the more people are jumping in on this network of mine, and the more frequencies that are being attached to my network, the more damage that is happening to my body. As you can see, I have the earplug in. Um, so what? And then if you forget, what I do is because they heterodyne, they send, two frequencies that basically, converge on a point. The brain takes both frequencies and it, yeah, I think it create. I forgot how, but I think it converges right to like one high, one low. Well, one high, one low. They converge on a point. The brain kind of creates I think it's um, like a binaural frequency or something frequency. I forgot. And then they create like a lock on signal to that frequency that for which they created something like that. I forgot. Like I said, I'm no expert at all this, but what I did learn though is you can actually palpate or feel or pinch the frequencies coming into your body. So like let's say right now my left ear always receives the high frequency, the low is always on the right. I take my fingers just like this right against my ear and I pinch down. The moment I pinch down, instantaneously, first thing I feel is a change of a tone in my ear, like literally in my ear. Like almost as if like they're like if before I didn't notice a sound, the moment I pinch down with my fingers by my ear, that's when all of a sudden I hear a sound change, and it's a very sharp tone. Then on top of that, in between my fingers, it feels like something is going through my fingers, even though you can't see it. Remember, we're talking about infrasound and like near infrared light. So as I pinch down, there's like things, or there's like either light or sound frequencies going through my fingers. Now, even more, as I pull it away from my body, you feel, or I feel, like something is being pulled from my body. And then also, there's almost like a magnetic, like, right, like even in my palm, in my right hand, there's a magnetic, almost thermal type of intense feel that I have, and it's like attached to my head. So remember, we're dealing with technology that is light and sound based that locks on to your body's natural bioelectric data or bioactivity, or however whatever words you want to use for. I don't know, but it's like I instinctively know what's happening. I just don't know the exact details on how to articulate it. I'm only articulating what I feel, and then what I read helps me, like any patents or any scientific studies, any medical studies, and any studies that are being done for the weaponization of directed energy weapons or sound in the military. Any of those documents, I read it too. Speaking of, I'm glad I mentioned that. One second, one second. I wonder, where did I put it? Where did I put it? I had it somewhere. One second. Where did I put it? I'm gonna try to see if I can flip this the other way. Basically, the Boehm, hold up. The Boehm Aharonov, I'm probably pronouncing these names wrong. The Boehm Aharonov effect, scalar interferometry, and scalar weaponization. Notice at the top it says Star Wars Now. This is a military document created back in April 14th of 1984. Oh, wait, April 24th, 1984. And this was originally released, by the, I guess, the CIA. Yes, this was originally released by the CIA, and up here you would see, what is that? September 9th, 2003. This entire document basically explains much of the things that are happening to us from an electronic standpoint. Um, just reading through the table of contents, this is how I knew this is something I had to read. And once I started to read it, I was just like, so, okay, what is it? Okay. All right, so on the first page, page one, it explains what the Bohm-Aharonov effect is. On page two, it talks about what scalar electromagnetics is. Page four, it talks about the wireless transmission of energy at a distance, right? Now, the part that really gets me is, let me see, scalar interferometry and weaponization on page 9. And then, on page 12, that's the one that really made me feel confident in knowing I knew exactly what I was talking about, because on page 12 it explains something called the vacuum theory and of extraction of distant energy. um I kind of don't want to really fully go over this, but what I'll do is I'll include the link to this document in the description, right? So back to the story, right? Now, remember, I get synthetic telepathy. I'm being remote neural monitored. I made some dinner. Every once in a while, I'll actually have the energy after work and dealing with gang stalking and stuff to actually want to cook. I made like some shrimp and tomato, well, spicy shrimp and tomato pasta. Mm. If you want to see how I cook or some of my dishes, go on Instagram, Chiefman35. That includes all the other gang stalkers. Well, they already know my Instagram anyway, because they follow me everywhere. Anyway, so um, and pay attention. I turned my fan off just in case if you could hear. If I could hear them, you might be able to hear them. So and then if anybody watching this is like I guess an audio expert or whatever, you could probably take the sound from this video and maybe amplify it or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, as people start to fill the bar, um, I start to notice more people that kind of seem um like they could be perps, right? Because I started to notice a lot more people looking in our direction. Um, there wasn't any artwork behind us. There wasn't any it wasn't a mirror or anything in particularly special on the wall. Remember, I'm sitting against the wall. Nothing in particularly special on the wall for anyone to just keep looking in our direction. So it's already like I already know that there's a whole slander campaign. They've definitely, not even probably, they've taken, medical record information about me and shared it with people. They definitely have taken my life memories, and shared it with people. Because they're constantly extracting and decoding, Everything that we think, everything that we know, they're constantly taking this information, uploading it to a cloud, and allowing people to be able to click on stuff and watch everything that we've ever experienced, like it's a movie, or whatever the case may be. But don't worry, all of this is about to come out. I promise you. I don't know if I'm going to be alive to see it all come out, but I know it's all about to come out sooner or later. Anyway, so um yeah, at some point, whatchamacallit, we eventually leave, the bar, and then, I, I will say, I've always been a very sensual and, sexual person. But I definitely had toned that part of me down starting at the age of like 26, because I was just like, I don't know, something just wasn't feeling right anymore. So at like 26, I started to tone myself down a bit more. Because I ain't gonna lie, my younger years, especially between 18 and 26, I was just like, ooh, you know. And then, so what ended up happening was, she didn't necessarily want to go home, so she wanted to come and, she wanted to come and stay with me. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I know you're dealing with stuff with the guy that you're dating, so we don't have to do anything, da da da. But trust and believe, after not being with anyone for 2 years, I definitely wanted to do something, but I didn't want to do anything on those terms, because it was like, she feels vulnerable. But then not even just that, it's the whole idea of the remote neural monitoring. That's the part that made it even more uncomfortable, is knowing that it's not just me and her, it's me and everyone watching through me. That's the part that really made it uncomfortable. So I was trying my best not to want to do anything, because I didn't feel comfortable with the fact that, like, because she doesn't know anything about gang stalking or neural monitoring or anything like that. So I didn't want to expose her um to them. I didn't want to expose her to them, because that's basically almost like creating a sex tape and then showing it to everybody. You know, um, or like if you had tapes, and if you had videos and stuff on your phone, and then your phone gets hacked and they take all your videos and then spread it all over the internet or whatever. That's basically what remote neural monitoring would be like. Because they can save everything that you see and experience, like it's a file. So you know um we come here, and she she's still very vulnerable and stuff, and we had moments where we were slowly, kind of like becoming a bit intimate, but I was doing my best not to actually like fully engage, and then here come the month, like we lay down to go to bed, right? Then for whatever reason, I wake up at like 4 like 4:30 or 4:15 in the morning, like just out of nowhere. And not gonna lie though, like it's been on it like, when I tell you it's been 2 years, like it's been 2 years since I've allowed myself to like really engage a woman, because I was like, yo, I don't feel comfortable doing that anymore, not even dating, because of remote neural monitoring. And you know, whatchamacallit. So basically, what ends up happening is, I don't know, to have her body just next to me in that bed, it was just like, I don't know, like I felt my old self kind of slowly creeping up on me. And then eventually I was just like, I don't know. Like, so I ended up engaging, right? You know, because she was wanting it all night. She even let me know, she was like, she was wanting it all night. But I consider that unfair, because it's like, you don't want to do it on terms because like she's feeling um unattended by the person that she's with, because then it doesn't necessarily mean that she wants to be doing it with you in the first place. Now, when I was young, I didn't care. I was like, hey, I didn't care when I was younger. Sure. But I guess as I got older and more mature, it's like you see those vulnerabilities in a woman, if you respect women, um, you don't necessarily take advantage of those situations. Now, me myself, I don't consider myself have taken advantage because I've not been intimate with anybody for like 2 years. So I guess we both were feeling vulnerable. But the thing is, the part that messes with me the most is when I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and you know. So we start to do something, and then as I'm like as I'm beginning the isn't well as we're like physically into it, I'm hearing the V2K, like I'm hearing the handlers, and they're like, Chris, you weren't supposed to do nothing. Look, he don't know nothing about look. And then it's like it's all this like negative, just like commenting and all this like deceptive, dialogue, that they're basically just like constantly going with. And I tried my best to try to like put it out my mind and ignore it, and to just try to be with the person that I'm with. But it's hard to do when you got four people in your head telling you, telling you, there's four people, two men and two women, and they both live in the Bronx. I know exactly what they look like. I don't know their names, but I know if I seen them in the street, I'm not going to do anything I'm not going to do anything to incriminate myself. But all I'm saying is I know exactly what they look like. Like that. The mental image is burnt up here. So it's like um you know yeah, it was the most it was so weird because, and I'm glad at least the room was dark. But then again, well, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. And it was kind of one of those things that made me like it made me remember what I said. I was like, I don't think I could ever date anyone that's not being remote neuromonitored or whatever, because it's like, at least with a TI, they know that they're being watched or whatever. And then, they would probably encourage me and just be like, no, don't pay it them no mind, just go with it, but doing it with somebody who doesn't know about remote neuromonitoring, it's just like, it's like, I don't know. Like I even felt guilty to some degree. I don't know how much of that could have been, maybe it was just spiritual conviction. Maybe it could have been the handlers tuning me, or maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's for the fact that I told myself I wasn't going to do anything, but then I don't know, waking up to that body next to me, it was just like, I don't know. But I told myself I'm not going to let it hang over me. But now here's the other thing. Now, afterwards, and I mean even like even almost like 2 days afterwards, I felt so exhausted, like not even half my life force, but like 65 to 70% of my life force was just like wiped out. And I just felt so tired and easily irritable and stuff like that. Like I was just tired. Like the day after I slept like at least like 8, 9 hours, and I still felt tired. So I'm just thinking to myself, could it have been because, it was like 2 years that I've, not been with someone, or maybe it was because my body has been taking so much damage from radiation and frequencies that I don't even recover properly the way I used to, you know. But anyway, so yeah, that was that part, and um, oh man, like yeah, it's still on my mind to this day, you know. But anyway, like I mean, we still cool, and I don't she seems to be doing all right. She heard from the guy, and he's still trying to figure out what's going on in his life or whatever. But she seems to be cool. She feels like I provided some clarity for her, whatever. You know, and then now okay, so to just jump from that, what else? Right. So a couple of things. So yeah, now what the handlers have been doing is because I've been very, what they say out their own mouths too is he's successful with his snitching because they believe that because you're talking about being electronically and covertly harassed and attacked by people that you've done nothing to, you're snitching. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. I would yell it and say it louder, but I don't want to make myself seem crazy. But fuck them. Um, because at the end of the day, God said, mind not what they do to your body. For the day that you die, there's nothing more that they can do to you." And then what they're also talking about is, "Oh, we got a setup coming for you. You're gonna have to go to prison. Oh, when you get to prison, they're gonna do worse to you in prison." And I'm like, well, you know what? Speaking of that, I've had this book in my room, and my mother been trying to get me to read this book for God knows how long. And you know what? Um, this book is not even that old. It was written or published in 2003. What's behind the New World Order and how it will affect you, right? So, in this book, it's like I haven't even like fully finished reading it. I literally just like kind of like in the first 4 pages, it literally resonated with me everything that is happening to target individuals. Um, let me see. So, and on page 3, right, it talks about how the Christians of old were basically hunted down and imprisoned and killed and all these different things like slandered and falsely accused of crimes and they were blamed for many things, famines, pestilence, even earthquakes. Like basically, especially like we're talking what does it says? Right. This is basically under the Roman during the reign of the Roman Empire, right? And it talks about how like the original Christians, like before all these denominations and all this other bumbo jumbo stuff came out, like the true followers of Christ's teachings, and not the idolaters who the idolaters. Yeah, not the idolaters who basically worship like this image of Jesus Christ, but the ones who actually you know, worship the teachings of Christ and everything like that. It talks about how the Roman civilization, the society, basically sought after and hunted down Christians and basically imprisoned them, killed them, called them crazy, all these different things. The exact same thing that's happening to TIs, but there's one part that kind of that like made me feel let me see what is it right, so as you can see in the image how they basically brought Christians Indians, like how they hunted them down, put them in a coliseum. They clothed them in animal skin and let loose other animals to destroy them and stuff like that. And then at the bottom it says, vast multitudes assembled to enjoy these sights and greeted their dying agonies with laughter and applause. And I just got chills when I said that. I just literally just got chills that just ran through my entire body when I said that. That's exactly what is happening to us. When you think about how people are logging in onto this cloud network and how they're all watching and the handlers, they're always in my head. He don't realize how many people watching him. That's the one I call Jasmine. You know, I don't, since I don't know their names, I named them. Um, the light skinned, slim, skinny one, the one who was the one that, if you remember the story, the one about the March 2020, the domestic violence thing. Um, the light skinned, slim one, I call him Michael. I don't know why, but I call him Michael. um, he's dude number one. Dude number two, he has a bit more of a heavier bass to his voice. Um, and I call him Tyshawn. I don't know why I call him Tyshawn, but I wonder if he's. I keep thinking to myself, I haven't figured out what his. I haven't figured out exactly which one of the faces is his, because in that hallway there was three. There was three dudes in that hallway, and I haven't really pinpointed which one was Tyshawn, if he was even there. Um, whatchamacallit, Jasmine is the girlfriend or baby's mother of Michael. She was like light skinned, very, very attractive, pretty woman. Um, and like, I don't know, I don't know. I remember when I moved into that building, I remember saying hello, trying to be cordial, but none of them would say anything back. Now, Michael's mother, who actually lived down the hall from me, she was cool. She was nice. She would have small talk with me. Even her home attendants would, say hello, and they all seemed cool. But them, the young ones, they didn't, right? And then the second woman, I call her Destiny. I don't know why I call her Destiny. She's apparently Jasmine's cousin, and I've seen her before. Her and Jasmine, they're about the same skin tone. Maybe Destiny. I think Destiny. No, Destiny might be a little bit lighter. Um, but anyway, so yeah. Now whatchamacallit? Where was I going with all this? But yeah. Yeah. It's like basically that's what they're doing. They link us up to this thing, and here's the funny thing about it. I can't understand why anybody would be comfortable with the fact that they know that someone can basically tap into their network and see everything that they're doing and whatnot. Like, how are you comfortable with someone with not having any privacy? How are you comfortable with that? I mean, and then they're like, "Oh, the streets is watching you," and I'm like, "So the streets don't mind that people can tap into their neural network and watch them kill somebody, and then save that information like a file?" Imagine if this cloud ever gets found out. This cloud ever gets like found, and they don't have time to wipe, and they don't have time to wipe the system, wipe the cloud, memory clean. And then next, everything that every single person has ever done is already on this cloud. Meaning everybody that's in this cloud who has their memory saved on this cloud is literally susceptible to facing criminal charges for whatever they did. Ever. I mean, well, you got the statute of limitations too. So, certain things that over a certain amount of years but at the same time, if it ever gets out that people who didn't know that you were responsible for doing what you did, if they find out and they see this file and this video or these pictures or whatever, hmm, you could really see how it could be like a full blown civil war or pandemonium or Armageddon, however you want to call it. But hey, it'll be well deserved, honestly. Shoot. Let me see. It goes on. Let me see. This book it goes on about more talk about how Christians were hunted like prey and persecuted by the Romans. Then it talks about how let me see. Oh, right. And then there was one part that really gave me some some more faith because I used to say this all the time about like being a TI who's willing to speak up is no matter what you do, and this is throughout history, no matter what you do to me, there are still hundreds of thousands of people just like me out there. Who there's probably someone who's a lot more tech savvy. There's someone who's probably a lot more spiritual. There's probably someone who's a lot more influential who knows about all that's happening and they're doing exactly what I'm doing. So it doesn't matter what they do to me. It doesn't matter what they do to me because there's thousands more just like me out there. They can't kill us all at once. They can't kill us all at once. So I'm pretty sure you can hear them. Anyway, because the tongue, the tongue, the tongue is probably one of the most powerful things in the world that is not a physical weapon. You know, the tongue is more powerful than guns, knives, bombs, lasers. The tongue is more powerful than all those things. Why? Because the tongue is influential. The tongue itself carries power in itself. You can say something to a person that can either lift them or lower them. You can basically speak life into a person, or you can basically speak death on a person. Here's the thing that every TI needs to remember. You are in great company. What they are doing to you is only a signified like stamp on your soul that you have been favored by God. Don't think of your persecution as just like, oh, this is so horrible, blah, blah, blah. You got to remember the fight for everything that's good and free in this world always will be met with some type of, um, rebuttal in a sense, or is because you got to remember, we're talking about spiritual warfare, the fallen angels who've been knocked out and banned from heaven. They don't want to see they don't want to see people doing godly things, and then when they leave earth, when they leave their body, like their flesh dies, they don't want to see them ascend up to heaven while they're still stuck here on earth. So what do? They corrupt the souls and minds of so many other human beings. So then what? If they can tempt you to sin heavily against yourself, you won't be able to ascend either. You'll be down here with them, dwelling for an eternity, wandering aimlessly, either here, either roaming earth, or probably somewhere in hell being tortured, or whatever the case may be. This is why they try so hard using all these different devices to try to lower your frequency, to try to see if they can agitate you, to see if they can get you to do things against yourself or against your own free will. Why? Because Azazel and all the other fallen angels, they don't want to see more people get accepted by God into heaven. They don't want to see that, because they're still mad centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries upon this into this. They're still mad that people are still maintaining godly energies. You know, these points of enlightenment, these points of peace and love. And the more we focus on those higher frequencies, the more we are capable, and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. The more we dang, that was a big one. The more we focus, and I must be about to drop something crazy right now. The more we focus on these higher frequencies, the more we are likely to be blessed in anything we could ever want in this life and in the afterlife. See, you got to remember, these bodies are only going to last for probably at most 120 years, at most, like that, like the most perfect case scenario, probably 120 years. But your soul, once your body dies, your soul is still going to live on past your body, because energy cannot be destroyed. You got to remember that energy cannot be destroyed. So we have to be the ones to try to remind other human beings that you have to live your flesh life according to how you want to see your eternal life. You know, if you are doing things that actually help raise other people's frequency in this world, trust and believe God is going to look out for you. God is definitely um going to do what is needed to do to make sure you are preserved, and that when you leave your flesh body, you will no longer have to suffer through anything. This is why they're using all these devices to, and then, oh, and something else that I just thought of when I was in the kitchen cooking, right? Think about this. A couple of things actually. Hurt people hurt other people. Hurt people hurt other people. You probably don't even have to have did anything to that person for them to hurt you. They're hurting from something that somebody else did, or they're hurting from a decision or a choice they made and still haven't forgiven themselves for making that choice. Or they probably mad because they got punished for the decision they made, and they mad, and that anger that they feel from being punished, now they want to try to see if they can rectify how they feel by, causing harm to someone else. That's one thing, right? Another thing, um, the idea of control, right? The most fearful people in the world are those who feel like they need to have control over everything. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. I'm not gonna be on here too much longer. I wasn't even trying to make this a whole hour thing, but the most fearful people in the world are the ones who hate not to have control over things. Why? Because they are afraid of being hurt. They are afraid of getting something wrong. They're afraid of being disappointed. They're afraid of, um, being chastised or ridiculed, or whatever the case may be. They got a lot of energy focused on my chest right now. It's all like right here. Like it goes from here to here. So It's nothing really much on this side, but it's like here, 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 and here. So they're basically trying to they're basically trying to see if they can, I guess, maybe disrupt the energy flow of my heart chakra or something like that. Because right now what I'm doing is, right now I have a piece of the energy that's flowing into my heart, and as I pull it, I could feel the gravitational force pulling into my body, almost like a vacuum. Remember, I'm a put the link to the whole scalar weaponization document on in the description. So yeah, like right now I'm holding this like thermal magnetic energy, right? And as I'm doing this, I could feel it pulling. I could feel it pulling, and it's going into the body. Nothing that's supposed to be good for the body should ever be going into your heart in that sense. Nothing should have a thermal magnetic property like this. And then when as it's going into your body, it's causing you a chest pain. That's not natural. That's not God at all. Anyway. Um what else? Um Let me see. Control. Right. People, the most fearful people in the world are those who can't stand not to have control over everything, because they always are afraid of being, hurt, or they don't ever want to feel they don't ever want to feel defeat in some sense. So what do they try to do? They try to come up with anything that they can do so that they can actually so they can prevent themselves from ever being hurt or taking a loss. Godly people don't need control over anything but themselves, because we already understand God controls just about everything around us. The only thing God is not fully controlling is you. That's why God gave us all free will. That's why God gave us the ability to choose, what we will and will not do. They're trying to take away your free will. And they're rewarding people in these worldly and material things for following their commands, no matter what the command is. And then on top of that, they don't they they're using military like tactics, so they're definitely not going to tell you the full truth. They might tell you some partial truth, but they're not going to tell you the whole truth. That's basic game. That's basic, like, secret society, rule stuff right there. Anyway, secret societies basically, say that they'll hold like all the information. They'll retain all the information and tell you partial truth or some truth, or they'll tell you a lie and make you believe that it is the truth. You know, and they're like, he don't know nothing about secret society. And I'm like, all right, bro. Anyway, so, and then remember, generational curses are real. Generational curses are real. Blessed is the man who is slow to anger. No, not that one, but that's a good one too. Cursed be he who seeks reward for the shedding of innocent blood, and all the people shall say amen. And then also, cursed be he who killeth thy neighbor in secrecy, and all the people shall say amen. Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to remember. In this book, right? Um, it was hold up. Where is it? Where is it? It mentioned something about, it was a saying that a Christian had said before they either killed him or imprisoned him. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so it says, in vain were Satan's efforts to destroy the church of Christ by violence. God's workmen were slain, but his work went steadily forward. Said a Christian, you may torment, afflict, and vex us. The more we are mowed down, the more we spring up again. The blood of the Christians is seed. It says Tertullian Apology, paragraph 50. Thousands were imprisoned and slain, but others sprang up to fill their places. Whew! And oh my goodness, you can't. I don't even. You can't see the goosebumps, but that in itself just lets you know: do not fear anything that they do to you. Just do everything that you can to keep standing in the light. Stand in the light and don't be afraid to tell your story. Stand in the light and don't be afraid to tell your story. Because the more you speak up about what is happening in your life and what they're doing to you, the more you're going to give someone else because remember, a lot of people don't know that they're either being remote neural monitored or they're being targeted and stuff, but they need to hear someone else tell their story. That's the only way change happens, is you have to tell your story, because if your story resonates with someone else, you will give them power to speak up too. And even those who are basically just going along with the gang stalking because they just don't want to go through suffering. They got to remember the freedom that we so-called have now came because people were willing to sacrifice their life for the very freedom that we have. And this is the part that blows my mind. And I really hate saying this word. I don't like to use this word, but if it applies, then shit. Black folks have been basically, like, for over 400 years, we have been enslaved, beaten, battered, bruised, dragged, hanged, burned, raped, shot, stabbed. All kinds of things have been happening to black folks. To see that as people of our own color doing the same things to us that other races were doing to us, and we're doing the same thing to each other, and then we're going to say, oh, you weren't supposed to say nothing. We a secret society. Nigga. I'm like, yo, you can't be serious. How did you let them trick you into enslaving your own people? Oh my goodness. And then on top of that, and then on top of that, they're like, he got no respect for secret society. Nigga. I'm just like, yo, this is why I think as I got older and more mature, I stopped trying to live such a racially based life, because I realized it doesn't even matter. Race really doesn't even matter. And depending on whatever society that you're living in, that's where race would matter. But if you travel outside of the world, or you travel outside of your country, and you go somewhere else and you start to feel the difference in how other people treat you and stuff. Like, I got black friends that are living in very, very Euro white very Euro white countries, and they tell me, they're like, yo, bro, to be honest, I'm not going back to America. Like, I got a dude, I got a homie that lives out in Germany. I got a homegirl that lives out in Greece. And they're all like, I'm not going back there. And I'm like, yo, And it's like when you think about and it's like yeah, there's I don't know, it's so much that's wrong with this world, but at the same time, you just do your best to just not be succumbed by what's happening around you. You know, I don't know, like I've had the idea of just wanting to leave and just like just leave it all behind me. I always say like, I would move to uh somewhere in a jungle somewhere if I need to, just to get away from all these ideals and all these other things that people want you to do, and oh, if you're not doing this with us then you're against us and all this stuff. Man, it's not like that everywhere. It's really not like that everywhere. And but at the same time, that's kind of like saying, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if God basically was directing or influencing my steps to lead them, maybe that's a sign and a half that there's probably destruction that's about to come to that place, just like in Sodom and Gomorrah. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to consider it as running. Because I mean, obviously, you can't necessarily escape this stuff. I don't think you can. Because the entire globe is encased in these man-made frequencies and all of these near infrared tracking lights that's attaching to our bioresonant frequencies and whatnot. But yeah, so I don't know. They're gonna keep doing everything that they can. I know my brain is taking a whole lot of damage because now like the vertigo has been increasing, and there's I've been getting just some of the perps that'll walk by and they'll say, ha ha, you about to go to prison, stuff like that. Or the handlers are, they're like constantly saying he's not going to be here for too much longer, he's not going to be here for too long. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. But I already know, as a bearer of God's love, peace, and his light, I already know that we get taken out of this world, but it is in our death, that change usually comes. Ever notice that, how some of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm not talking about physicals, I'm talking about how their energy, what they talk about, like the Princess Dianas of the world, or Martin Luther Kings, and though nobody is perfect, but they actually devoted their life, they sacrificed their life, they sacrificed their livelihood for the betterment of the future of everything that's right and good in humanity. So I'm already set, and I'm solid in myself, that like no matter what happens to me, I know that everything that I did while I was alive was all about promoting and raising people's frequency, and encouraging people to get spiritually connected. Slowly distance yourself from materialism, because materialism is basically depleting the soul. Materialism is depleting people away from their family, their friends. It's materialism that's deteriorating the earth in itself. Materialism is what's causing climate change, and materialism is what's you know pushing such a heavy sexual influence into children and stuff like that. It's so much things. Hey, like I said, I don't gotta make this up. I don't gotta make this up. Anyway, I gotta eat, and then I'm like, I'm probably not gonna go sleep. I took a nap early, and I woke up at like 8 something, and my alarm is about to go off in like in a little over 2 hours. I'm probably not gonna be able to go to sleep. I don't know. Maybe I might go to sleep. Um, they're basically plotting something. I don't know, but whatever. I already know when I die. Trust and believe my karmic energy is about to come back and clap all of them, all at the same time. I mean, who knows? It's kind of like that, like this song I like to listen to. There's a song I love to listen to. It's like a gospel song, and what's the name of it? What's her name? Last name Price. Where's she at? Oh, Pace. Right, LaShawn Pace. LASHUNPACE. The name of the song is There's a Leak in This Old Building. Hmm. Anyway, I'm gonna end there so I can eat. And yeah, matter of fact, while I eat, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to some proverbs on top of that too. In fact, it's already after 12, so let me check, see what my daily verse is. You know, because the Bible app, it gives me a daily verse every day, and sometimes these daily verses they hit. Like they be right on point with whatever it was I was feeling that day. Like it hit. This is from now. Didn't I just say that I was about to, probably listen to Proverbs while I eat my food? Verse of the day, Proverbs 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. That's the King James Version. Now, the Amplified Bible, let me see, okay, the reverent fear of the Lord, that is worshiping Him and regarding Him as truly awesome, is the beginning and the preeminent part of wisdom, its starting point and its essence. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding and spiritual insight. Now, if you think about everything that I've just been talking to for the last 1 hour and 7 minutes, tell me, is this not divine communication right now? Look, on that note, hey, like I always say, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.